Okay.
Fuck it.
Well, we've had a day off. We're catching up. Is it a day off? Tuesday off. Today's Wednesday,
yes.
right?
Well, we had an evening off technically.
Hello, welcome to the 2-Minute Terminator. I'm Ethan McKinley.
I'm Ellie Fitzgerald.
And we are the presenters of the
2-Minute
Terminator
podcast.
You ruined the chain. Basically, we watch 2 minutes of the Terminator and we then analyze it with facts, figures, links, all kinds of crazy stuff. Monday, Ellie apparently had a bit of a heavy weekend and her energy was quite low. So I had to carry the show. And as I'm not very talented and dyslexic, and I lost all my notes for the show, it was a bit of a dry one. But we're back.
You can literally hear the volume in my voice on Monday.
I
woke up and you were like, we're doing a show. And I was like, what?
We're doing a show. And
a show?
Shoved her out onto stage. She had a chair was on casters.
Literally.
I was trying to do my vaudeville act, and she was having none of it. Right.
Sorry, volume.
We
it's pretty
are
loud.
going from...
Minute.
We're going literally from the hour and a half mark. So we're going from 90 minutes to 92 minutes. The 2-minute gap bridging those 2 minutes, basically. And it starts with put your hands like this, and Sarah rests her hands on the table. Obviously, that's incorrect because now we're working in an altered timeline because I took my notes from the Skynet edition of the version of the film and not the special edition which we're actually watching now because we couldn't get the Skynet edition to work on our computer. But having said that, it essentially starts with Sarah watching John and the Terminator play high fives, and then Enrique Seleca playing with his kids, and then she falls asleep with her head on the table. So it starts with that, and then it kind of ends with, the nuclear fire, essentially.
I think it's like the most peaceful she looks throughout the whole fucking movie.
It is.
Where she just kind of rests her head down. She's like,
I left a note here saying
time.
Sarah's humanity is returning, and actually it's not returning. She's, because of this repeat dream she keeps having, she's actually becoming the Terminator. She's got more of a militaristic stance and walk and movement, stripping away, essentially. Not like that, Linda, keep clothes on, we don't want to see that. Humanity to become a machine.
Great mouth, though.
Yeah, there's so many elements of her face that are to like, but for some reason...
Then we see her in the big buns, like apron outfit and the Chewbacca mullet, and I'm straight back to no.
Before we get to that, though, we should actually open the show with Hit the Music. Boom.
Watch out for machines, they're unstoppable. Watch out for machines, they will rule the world.
And we're back. Yes.
That was exciting.
Now, I've always mentioned this.
Right, okay, so listeners, we need to stop Ethan from saying
I think I'm actually okay with her on this podcast. It's on my other podcast where I interview actual world famous celebrities. I go,
and what's it? And having said that,
that's for this one. Having said that is for this one. We've already said it twice. Now you're saying it. And the other one is
having said that.
Most of my editing is actually removing the so my interviews look professional.
I was saying burns. We beg for blood. Ethan, I have a question for you.
Nova, the ape spoke. The doll said mama.
The cow goes shazoo. You won't get that reference.
We have to go into the forbidden zone.
It's like your Charlton Heston, yeah. I need to kick me, motherfucker.
Right, yeah. I've always mentioned this dream sequence. It's been a long time coming. Just to bring new listeners up to speed with this, there have been several dream sequences up to this hour and a half point in the Terminator where she's walking towards this kind of like, I guess, well outside of downtown Los Angeles because you can see it in the background. But this kiddie's playground, essentially, that she keeps coming to. She's been to it in her nightdress. Now she comes to it in her kind of military outfit, her paramilitary look.
Her SS get up.
As I said before, there was an extra dream sequence in which the Terminator actually leads her out of her cell and into this sequence we're seeing now would have been the final one where the Terminator himself leads her out into this, and she sees the nuclear fire and all the children and the city killed by a wall of nuclear fire. Cameron scrapped that idea, obviously, because he thought, one, it took away the first impression of the Terminator walking out of the elevator and scaring Sarah Connor's character in the mental institution, where he's actually there to rescue her. So they scrapped it because Cameron felt it was one too many dream sequences, I think, including the special edition. I think there's 3 up to this point. So, the bit of trivia which I've not been able to tell you until this freaking episode.
Trivia schmivia.
As Sarah is watching herself, here comes the fact attack.
Fact attack.
Nearly forgot that one. I love the way you always change the gun now.
Yeah, wow. Let's keep people on their toes.
The Sarah Connor with the Chewbacca mullet we all know and love from the first Terminator. And she's in her big buns
the body is back
outfit.
in her hair.
By the way, while you'd be in your waitressing outfit at the kiddies' playground, at least go home and change. If you are a waitress, don't obviously go to...
Don't have a kid. There's no way you can support a child fucking serving buns.
You can't. Well, in America,
unless
maybe you could. I was speaking to a guy actually the other night at the Saatchi Gallery job, of which our patrons that night were Julianne Moore, Cara Delevingne,
as I've
Laura
said, I know her
Stone,
cousin.
the model you
Laura,
like with the
Jesus
amazing...
Christ, those chebs.
She's got amazing chebs.
Love that you just said that.
And I can't say this on air, but I saw some quite illegal activities, shall we say. Not maybe from those 3 celebrities in question, not at all. However...
Can I say it delicately?
You can't, because we're on air.
Fuck.
We can't mention anyone's celebrity name.
No, I wasn't going to say a name. I was
in
gonna
conjunction
say
with any illegal activities. I'm just saying that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I know, though.
No,
I know
we have to
something
sign
you wanna know.
non-disclosure agreements, but as this is a crappy show that no one listens to, I can go at least that far to say.
It was illegal.
I would also like to say those 3 names were not implicated in any of those
No.
things. I'm not saying that in a roundabout winking way that they were. They weren't.
There's the truth.
There was a lot of famous people there.
And the truth.
And there was a lot of wacky stuff going on. It did actually remind me of Torture Garden, a fetish club we've been to.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because the VIP area, the main gallery upstairs, basically they were launching... It was a Chanel event for Chanel. And lots of celebrities came. And the top gallery of the Saatchi Gallery in London... We will get to the Sarah Connor thing in a minute, I promise you. We promised we'd fill our first start of our show with 10 minutes
first, babes.
I actually do. You can see the sallow cheekbone appearing. This is why I need to retire from acting.
Mulk.
No, Ethan, you're getting your characterful face now.
Exactly.
This is when the work will start coming in.
This is when it will really
As
start
you enter
to
manliness.
fucking hit, man. Exactly. Before you were just this wee bairn.
Anyway,
He's
the
got lots
upstairs
of proof.
gallery of this gallery, the upstairs gallery, they split one side into like a regular 1930s kind of Art Deco looking bar, and then the other half was like red crushed velvet, and there was like beds and chaise lounges, so it looked very much like...
It sounds like fabric.
The VIP, not the VIP, the kind of like, not the couples room, what would it be? Basically, Torture Garden is a world famous fetish club. I've been to it a couple of times.
Like one of the dungeon rooms.
Yeah, you'd been to it many times before we'd even met, hadn't we?
Yeah.
How our paths didn't cross, I have no idea. But it was all like crushed velvet and stuff, and it was like, because it was a gallery, there was water dripping off the ceiling because there was that many people in there. The condensation
sweat.
was forming and hitting you.
Oh, it sounds like SC1
And people
actually.
were just blatantly doing illegal things, not sexual things, but illegal things blatantly in this the VIP area, which was massive.
What, like movie piracy?
It was the...
Were they downloading films onto their computers?
Basically, yeah. They were gathered around all the celebrities had laptops, and they were like,
Ethan was like, right, is this equal Putlocker?
They were either watching stuff on Putlocker, or they were downloading stuff off kick-ass torrents,
or kiddie porn,
or they were on Couch Tuner watching the latest episode of The Bastard Executioner, where you can see, in fact, my ex-wife, one of the twins. If you watch it on FX, listeners,
but which twin?
get it? Well, the one without the wide face.
Ethan, the one that can't act.
No, that's my.
No, that's what I'm talking about. You fuck muck. You fuck muck. That's definitely.
Anyway, back to the playground. The thing I can now divulge to everyone, which is not that important really, but as Sarah watches herself with the Chewbacca mullet playing with Linda Hamilton's real son, at the time, who she just had a baby.
Whoa. Her tits look like that, and she's just had a baby. Your tits
that
should
could
be
be the
like...
reason for it.
I wish you'd seen my face when I just did
Dalton-Abbot is her 18-month-old son at this point. So that makes him
Dalton.
about 27 in the year
God.
of our Lord 2015. Or 26. No, 27, 28.
Little baby Dalton.
Well, anyway, Linda approaches to look at her own son, Dalton-Abbot Hamilton, playing with herself. That's not Sarah Connor. That is not Linda Hamilton. That's, in fact, Linda's twin sister.
Twin, of course.
Yeah.
Is that why she looks ever so slightly different? Okay, Ethan, I have a question about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, this recurring dream...
I've just had an idea.
What?
Well, she was married to James Cameron at this point, or just after. No, they got married about...
Did he fuck both the twins?
No, my point is, if she's a twin,
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't Cameron's workaholic megalomania that actually caused them to divorce. Maybe it's because she's a twin.
And twins are
twins
crazy?
Can't, yeah, and they're also married.
Compete with each other?
No, but they're married to each other.
Are they?
In every... Yeah, if you date someone who's a twin, Ellie, it's probably better. If you're a girl, I'm sure boys wouldn't mind. And there will be a third person in your marriage. Pun intended. The way Camilla Parker Bowles was described by Princess Diana, there was always the third person in our marriage.
Yeah, but they were fucking behind her back.
That's what. Yeah. My point is though, like if you date a twin, you kind of get the other twin into the bargain because
They
they're
come as
so
a package.
yeah. So maybe that was the cause for the divorce. I don't know.
Maybe you've nailed it. What do you think, Spaldner? What do you think, Josh? What do you think, John? What do you think, people? Anyway, my question.
Josh.
I said
Sorry.
Josh.
Oh.
I said Josh before
You
John.
are John.
My question is,
Yeah.
so Sarah, she's had a difficult life, even though she's only in her 30s. She keeps having these dream sequences. Do we think this is purely because of the experience that she's had, or do we think that possibly this recurring nightmare / dream is some kind of like psychotic kind of like loop, because she's obviously been put under a hell of a lot of drugs while she's been in hospital as well? Do we think that could be like a link?
What do you mean?
Well, it's like they say, like, if you take acid, it's in your system forever, and certain things can, like, trigger something. I'm saying, is it purely just that she knows that this horrific thing's going to happen, and obviously she went through this traumatic experience? Is that solely the reason why she keeps having this recurring dream? Or do we think that maybe there's something to do with the fact that she's been pumped full of drugs for the last 10 years as well?
Yeah, well, it's all of those things, isn't it? It's I guess the abuse she's suffered at the hands of the hospital staff. I guess it's suggested that it's sexual.
She definitely looks like a victim, dude.
Because Dougie obviously licks her face. That implies, Ken Gibble. Played by Ken Gibble.
Gibble dribbles.
In a damning indictment of the mental health industry in America.
Unfortunately,
I
a lot of
don't know.
people that do work in mental health are horrible people.
It's
No, dude, it's true. I do know that. I know people that work in those situations. It's all about risk assessment, and a lot of the people that go into that kind of work, they don't actually really care.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up. Anyway, second question. What the fuck is
no,
Mrs.
I
Doubtfire doing in this scene?
Yeah, there is in fact a lady who's on fire who does look a little bit like.
Oh no, it's before she's on fire.
Oh, okay.
I think it's some kiddie on the
Get me a
roundabout.
granny from Central Casting.
Dude, she almost looks a spitting image of. Wait, we'll see her in a second. It's just looped. She almost looks a spitting image of fucking Mrs. Doubtfire. And she bursts into flames. I rest my case.
Well, the Linda Hamilton's sister is Leslie Hamilton Gearren. She's the one playing with Linda Hamilton, her other twin, the lead of this film, playing Sarah Connor, her real son Dalton-Abbot. That does look very much like Mrs. Doubtfire.
And I'm also noticing...
Well, strangely, she's playing on the seesaw with a black child.
I know, right?
So
I'm noticing that every kind of like culture and every like different variation of person is in this playground, apart from... So we've got a white kid, we've got an Oriental, we've got a black
Oriental,
kid.
you have to say Asian.
Okay, Asian.
Even though while I agree it's okay, if you need to change the words for political correctness, fine. But if you say Asian here, you'd think of an Indian person.
Yeah, I would.
Where it's all encompassing in the US.
Just can't keep up with this lingo, man. Like that time I said to Sean, like this mixed race guy, and he was doing all his like
Nicely
gangster
chosen.
bit, and I was just like, yeah, but dude, you're not actually black, are you? And he went, what do you mean? I was like, well, you're like half caste. And he was like, oh,
Can't say
Ellie,
that
you
anymore.
can't say that anymore. I had no idea.
Someone actually said it on the Chanel job, and then I was like,
Were
is
they
that a
black,
problem
though?
for mixed race or half caste or black people? They were like, not really. We don't fucking care.
I think it's white people that get upset about it, not so much black
I think
people.
all the racial stuff, bar the N-word, it's more a white man's burden that we
is,
worry about.
that we put upon ourselves.
Yeah.
But again, it's like feminism, dude. It's women putting it upon themselves. It's, oh my god, it's this. It's like it's actually not. You've just got a nice pair of tits, and that's it. that's just
Would
the
you not
bottom line.
argue if you had a really nice pair of tits, then you probably wouldn't be a feminist? You'd be more interested in looking good and on a Saturday night. And
No, I'd probably
having
still just be
fun.
myself. I'd probably just walk around topless more.
well, Milo Yiannopoulos obviously argues that most feminists generally are. You get into feminism either between the ages of 18 and 22 and you need a cause to fight, or you get it when you kind of looks are starting to fade when you're in your mid to late 30s.
So, yeah, but I'm anti-feminist. So what does that
But
say
he
about
said
me?
if you're like an attractive woman, generally you're not out there fighting those fights because you don't have those battles to have with things
I see what
because
you
the
mean.
doors are always open to you in a sense.
In a sense, yeah.
So essentially you're kind of fighting your own selfish need versus for womankind in general. You're fighting your own kind of battle and using this as a template. It's also something that he said something to do with authoritarian people who just want to take over things and using it as a cause, the same way a religious person might use their position to perhaps
Plus, women are just
sexually abuse them.
angry.
They are. Anyway.
Yeah, but as I was saying, so we have an Asian kid, we have a white kid, we have a black kid.
Yeah.
I see no spastic in here. I cannot
Well-
see one child licking any swings,
Windows.
nothing, windows.
Can you imagine if that was the thing at
Springy.
a playground, like a window?
Yes! Or shitting in the sandbox.
I wonder if cats do that.
Again, I'm just going
If
back
you
to
live near a
Simpsons
child's
when
playground and you had a cat, would that cat be shitting in the sandbox all the time?
blatantly.
That was me.
It wasn't actually, it was me.
Anyway, Robert and Dennis Skotak. I think we mentioned these actually in the first episode of this second season.
Skotak.
They're the kind of, the twin brothers who look a bit like gnomes.
Mothers.
I put down. Those twins weren't brothers. They were.
Mothers.
Robert and Dennis Skotak, of course. They did this sequence essentially, which is the nuclear fire. They also worked obviously on the start where you see the playground on fire. As a little mention, just as we see in this playground, the 4 animals with the springs on are meant to represent the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You did know that because I told you in the first episode.
Well, I
Ellie.
forgot because I forget most of the things you tell me. Unless it's disgusting.
But them
things.
burning obviously is very symbolic of like loss of innocence. The 4 horsemen, the swings are on fire. As a continuation of this sequence with apart from ILM doing the nuclear fire, travelling across the city, these 2 guys, Robert and Dennis Skotak, who work for Forward Productions, they supervised this sequence. They worked with Cameron on most of his films. They did lots of stuff for Aliens and things and The
wow.
Abyss. So they're like, I guess, kind of, or they were, his kind of stock company of like tech guys that used to do stuff. I'm not sure if they're ILM. They probably were ILM, but then they went to Digital Domain. But I'm pretty sure they came through the Roger Corman camp, as Cameron did, who was a production and designer and obviously matte painter for Roger Corman. And
Okay,
then
so-
obviously he went on to paint the matte paintings for Escape from New York, a film you've still yet to see, which is great. But as we only got halfway through First Blood, I recommended, and you couldn't give a shit. And I put Casino on 1995, the De Niro Pesci
We've
and
covered
Sharon
this.
Stone
We've
film.
covered this, dude. I've had a
We shouldn't give
very
a shit about.
long. I did.
were
I
in-
enjoyed it. I
Weirdly,
enjoyed what I
you
watched.
asked to see
me.
Sean Connery's finest film with Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai, which you can't get through because your internet's that bad. You can't stream any movies. And we laughed.
Anyway, no, I'm really enjoying Casino, but it's a very long movie, and I did keep falling asleep. I do apologise, but so far loving it. The Last Samurai, the bit I saw up to was the bit where the master was just beating him, and he kept getting up, and he beating him, and he was kept getting up, and he looks so much like you in that movie. It's unreal. Actually, really looks like you. I think it's the red eyes.
And the books of Scientology that spill
They
from
look
my
like you could
pockets.
possibly cry at any time. I'm joking.
That's just glaucoma.
That's just all the corn syrup. No, so I do really want to finish that. The music so far is amazing.
In what?
In The Last Samurai.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I like classical music.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
People criticize Hans Zimmer a lot because a bit like, well, to bring up another film.
Who criticizes Hans Zimmer?
A lot of people and a lot of composers also. And I think kind of quite rightfully so in a sense. Or is it just we're in a different era? I think obviously in the 1980s you had very much like melodic soundtracks, or very like classical, almost like the Korngold soundtrack.
Kind of like Vangelis-y.
No, Alec Vangelis is like very contemporary and electronic. Obviously I suppose Hans Zimmer and him they're around at the same time. Hans Zimmer obviously weirdly, Fact Attack, nothing to do with this film, was in Buggles, wasn't he? Video.
Oh my god, yeah, you showed me. He was on the keyboard.
Yeah, if you watch the Buggles video, it's literally only for half a second, but a very young Hans Zimmer plays the on the keyboard.
It sounds exactly like that.
And they literally put a very young Hans Zimmer on for the bit as a girl in a blue wig is going up the Augustus Gloop toffee tube from Willy Wonka. But yeah, he was in Buggles, and now obviously he's a very famous film composer, but he's been criticised in a sense that a lot of his soundtracks sound the same, and any of the stalwart the composers that have come out of his camp who have worked under him, like I guess Steve Jablonsky, Nick Glinny-Smith, Harry Gregson Williams, you know, the list goes on. I think Mark Streitenfeld did the Prometheus soundtrack.
God.
They're very kind of like electronic-y driven sounding scores, so they everything kind of morphs into kind of one. Although the music obviously is amazing.
I can give a fuck, mate. I think Hans Zimmer's great.
And I think his breakthrough kind of film that Hans Zimmer did as a composer, which was like really contemporary sounding and awesome and electronic, was Rain Man.
Amazing movie.
But I think now a lot of the scores of other composers are influenced by that, so you kind of lost melody, so you've lost this kind of like James Horner, who sadly died this year in a plane crash, John Williams, who did Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
I didn't know James Horner was dead.
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that.
He did the Avatar soundtrack.
Oh my god.
How did you not know that?
Fact
Attack!
Oh my god, fact heart attack? What the fuck?
Did you not know?
I've just discovered James Horner. That's what I was like,
He died
Ethan,
in
have
a
you
plane-
heard this fucking...
He
You're
died-
like, Ellie, I've got every single soundtrack.
Right, you don't want to know how he died.
Please tell me.
A couple of months ago, he actually died in a plane crash.
What the fuck? That's giving me goosebumps, dude.
Well, his music certainly did.
His little pan pipes.
So sadly, not anymore.
Oh my god, how old was he?
I'm sorry, yeah, James Horner.
Oh my god.
He was born on August 14th, 1953, and he sadly died on the 22nd of June, 2015, in a plane crash. It was only him found in the plane. It was like one of those two-man
That's 4
tiny
days
planes. He
after
was
my
a qualified
birthday.
pilot. And they found the burnt wreckage of this plane, and the body identified it, of course, therein was James Horner.
Jesus.
No one else was in the plane, and I've not actually looked into what actually happened, whether it was a technical malfunction or a
Is it a
mistake.
conspiracy?
A mistake on his part.
Did he know something?
Well, maybe he knew something.
Maybe.
But kind of he and James Cameron worked together on Aliens, and they kind of fell out at that point. Strangely, well, not strangely, because I think James Cameron wasn't used to working with a composer, and I'll put the clip of this on from the Aliens making of. They kind of fell out because James Horner, when you compose music, you kind of like, you acknowledge certain things in a scene, like she's banging on the doors of the glass, or like, you know, a robot explodes, or there's like a car that drives by. A composer has to acknowledge certain dramatic things within whatever's happening in the film at that point to the millisecond.
Right.
What James Cameron was doing with Aliens, he composed music for a scene that James Cameron edited, and then James Cameron would change the edit as he went.
Right.
And then go, why is the music not fit now? And then James Horner obviously would explain that to him, and they would go back and forth to the point that.
But as we know, James Cameron was very difficult to work with, wasn't he?
Apparently so, yeah. But I guess history's proven it right, because he's not really made a shit film.
Yes, that's a good point.
Also to the point. I keep saying to the point.
Yeah, you're just replacing it now.
Well, they kind of fell out because he couldn't give Cameron what he wanted, but Cameron didn't understand really how composers worked up to that point, because he'd only worked with Brad Fiedel. And Cameron's first film, who knows if he had like Final Cut as an editor? The Terminator had just come out. Then he's handed the Alien as his next film. And James Horner had worked on like Star Trek 2, 3, Kroll. He was like this now seasoned composer. Battle Beyond the Stars, a Roger Corman production, brilliant music. So yeah, they kind of fell out, and then James Cameron had always loved the Braveheart soundtrack that James Horner had done, and then asked him to come back for Titanic, and then they started working together again. Culminating with Avatar, which they worked on together. Now, who's going to compose Avatar 2, 3, and 4? I have no idea, but it won't be James Horner. So all that music that you're...
Who do you think it should be?
I don't know, because I think apart from John Williams, James Horner, well, maybe Graham Plowman, the composer.
I was about to say, dude, literally, I was about to say, why don't you...
He's the only person...
Suggest Plowman.
There's probably a million people that are screaming like into their fucking
Elfman,
headphones
do you reckon
now.
he could do it?
Danny Elfman could, but I don't know.
It's
Yes,
quite magical, kind of.
but they always have their periods, don't they? Danny Elfman, I think, kind of doesn't have that sound anymore, kind of, does he? His signature sound. Not that that's a bad thing. It's important that you kind of like change your work.
I think Danny's my favourite.
James Horner was criticised from using like bits of other soundtracks in other soundtracks, which I think I've pointed out to you from time to time.
Yeah,
There's a lot of the Alien soundtrack you can kind of hear in Avatar sometimes and things like that. But I think apart from John Williams, James Horner was one of the last great film composers where...
Fuck, I can't believe he's dead.
There was like melody, if there was a certain character in a film, or like Star Wars, each character has their own kind of theme. So even if a character's not on screen, if you hear like a few notes or bars of that theme, you go, oh, that character's about to come on screen or something. So it was like another character within the film. I think now in the advent of the Hans Zimmer type scoring soundtrack, it's all very low and like
what's it like, Ethan?
Well, like the Batman soundtrack, there's no like you can name verbatim the Michael Keaton Batman. It's got a theme tune. The Joker's got like theme tune. The chase music, so it's very distinctive. You can hum it. You'd walk out the theater like humming the tune. You're going by the soundtrack. Whereas Hans Zimmer is very like almost source music, kind of like driving themes, but there's no like real theme or melody to it. It's it's
almost in the background, kind of.
Batman Begins, yeah. Still great music, but there's none of that kind of like the E.T. theme or the Indiana Jones theme, you know.
Theme.
There's none of that like catchy like like Arthur and Merlin has got a theme.
Keep going.
That's all I can remember. Sorry, Graham.
And you're in it.
And I'm in it.
And it's good music.
It is good music though.
Hit the music.
But because it's got that theme, hasn't it? Arthur's got a theme, Merlin's got a theme, and that big like roaring fanfare that the film like plays out to. That's like if they ever did a second film, that would be like the Indiana Jones theme. That would be the Arthur and Merlin theme, if you will.
Can you buy the Arthur and Merlin?
Do you like owls?
Do you like Arthur and Merlin? Can you buy the soundtrack or the score of Arthur and Merlin on CD?
You can't yet. It's going to be on iTunes soon. But
I want to get that for my dad because he really liked the music.
Everyone did. Everyone I've mentioned.
But similar to you, my dad is like he's almost got every single fucking movie score you can possibly think of. Like he loves it.
Everyone that's seen Arthur and Merlin, the film, has like more than I think anyone, even the actors in the film, has said the music's
incredible.
Is incredible, and it's like it makes the film maybe a bigger or better.
Do you remember that scene where all those guys are running across the plain and there's that really epic music?
Yeah.
Best part of the movie, I think.
To bring it back, we've covered the music. Now to bring it back to
Terminator,
as the bodies obviously start to. Do we see that in this?
Yeah.
The bodies start to burn.
Mm-hmm.
Stan Winston obviously did the effects in this to connect it to another film Stan Winston did involving burnt bodies, Interview with the Vampire. There's a scene in Interview with the Vampire where Claudia, spoilers, gets burned by the sun, and Louis obviously finds her body locked in that tomb, and she's almost like the consistency of cigarette ash.
Mm-hmm.
And when he touches her, it crumbles. The same kind of effect. It's a bit more crude in this, obviously, because they hadn't perfected it by then. Interview with the Vampire is 1994. This film, obviously, is 1991. As the bodies fly apart, as the nuclear or the heat wave like hits them, and they fly apart.
Your sound effects tonight, Ethan, are fucking amazing.
The bodies were made made with this kind of like really brittle foam, and it was done over like an actual skeleton, which is what you see happening to Linda later in the film.
That was actually what I was going to ask. How the hell did they do that?
They had a real skeleton, or like a constructed skeleton, then they cast the body with this like super brittle like flyaway foam. Now, I'm not sure if they put cuts in it or not. I know they certainly did with Interview with the Vampire, and they had like cheese wires built into it, so when they pulled the wire, it cut the foam from within, and then it would break apart.
Oh.
But even though it's not in there, it's actually in the next scene, but I'll say it now anyway. They'd shoot like air cannons at the foam bodies, so they'd go and fly apart like leaves, like she describes.
Amazing.
In the mental institution thing.
In the mental institution.
Yeah.
So did you get that from the making of, or do you just know that because you're a movie geek?
Did I get it? No, I didn't know that because I'm a movie geek, but it's in like the making of Into the Vampire, and you can quite plainly see. It's
So
it's
you're
kind
just
of the
seeing
same
the correlation between.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But in Into the Vampire, obviously they backed a lot out of that up with CGI and stuff. CGI.
Nah. I'm surprised they didn't use some kind of like Doc Martin boots in that scene. That'd have been great product placement.
Yeah.
Close up on the shoes. Missed out there. DMs. Fucking idiots.
I probably will have directed old Plowman to this episode, and you don't have to listen to it all, Graham. I've probably given you the time code where you can listen to us lord over your bloody lovely music.
No, it's amazing. Please bring that CD out ASAP.
Yeah, before we start ripping it off YouTube. I'm just kidding.
No, we want that beautiful artwork. What was with that new artwork, by the way?
The artwork,
Was
this week, was the French poster for
Why
the movie.
Why would they change it though?
Because each country has its own interpretation of things. You bought me a book of Star Wars posters, didn't you? Yeah, good. I was lucky because I thought it was Sophie that got me that years ago. She got me the Hammer Horror Films posters.
No, but we did both get you the same Marvel encyclopedia.
Okay, if you look... Yes, but hers was like...
Hers had like a velvet fucking thing,
No,
and
it
she
didn't.
queefed all over it, and
was-
it was amazing. It
was-
smells like her.
It was like leather covered with a giant X in within the X with all the characters.
Yeah, well, I got mine from work, from the book people, because it was cheap and fucking...
But, let me finish. Yours is a later edition, therefore it has better and more information in it.
Is that why it's been on my shelf all that time?
Is that why you won't watch First Blood?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Touche, motherfucker.
Is that why when I gave you all my hand-me-downs, NECA, Alien and Predator toys, you've just thrown them in a pile over there?
I need a shelf, and I keep saying, right, this weekend I'm going to go out.
All she's talked about, listeners, is getting more Alien and Predator and Terminator toys. So I helped her out by giving her all my old collection, because I'm a good guy. And they've just been tossed aside.
Dude, I've spent what have I done to my room, apart from mess it up?
Anyway, to bring it back to Arthur and Merlin.
Available
now on DVD. It comes out in America soon, November the something. I haven't got the exact date, but Marco, the director, had to approve the latest artwork for the American poster.
But what I don't understand is why they're different posters for different countries.
Well, to bring it back to the Star Wars book, if you go through the Star Wars book of posters, there's they've got so many crazy examples of countries reinterpreting that film and making a poster about it. So, like, the Polish poster of Star Wars is fucking wacky as fuck. It's like, they look like some of them have nothing to do with Star Wars.
Okay.
But by the same token, each country obviously wants to market it in its own way, and it has to be, I guess, when it is allowed, the director or the creative people behind that film will obviously approve that artwork, so you don't put like a bunch of dildos in Arthur or Merlin's hand, or like some...
I can imagine Vasilisa doing that.
Or a giant pair of tits on the on the throne of Wyner or something. Do you know what I mean? So obviously the people that made the film have to approve any or all artworks or copyrighted print materials for that project.
I get that.
So the thing you've seen on Facebook is the French poster. The thing you're
With
looking
the red
at
ribbon thing on it.
on the link to the Journey to Wyner, which I'm looking at right now, which is, I think is my favourite bit of music out of the film.
You're going to play a little bit?
We can play out with it.
Yeah.
I'll play out with it at the end of the show.
Aww.
For you, Graham, you darling.
Bloody beautiful man, you.
Yeah, so I think that's my favourite art, actually, the one that's actually on there. That's the most, I think, the most lavish and...
I wish we could just put your, like, wide head at the back. Your head did look incredibly wide in that movie.
I think the second best one I've seen is the French poster. I think the English people dropped the ball with the DVD because it was just Kirk and Stefan's head. Yeah. and it didn't give you like a sense of the adventure of the film and stuff. But I think my favourite thing is on Graham's.
How are those guys, by the way?
Fine. Kirk has stepped away from his agent briefly so he can write because he's sick of being in the same boat I am, which he's not because he's got a much bigger agent and he's done another 2 films this year, so I don't know what he's complaining about. And Stefan's raising his children and working in a theatre. So.
And so what have you been doing agent-wise this week?
Graham Plowman has been composing some stuff for, I think it's, is it a spoken word thing to do with H.P. Lovecraft? No, sorry.
H.P. Lovecraft?
You've listened to his Lord of the Rings stuff, haven't you?
Silmarillion.
Yeah. That's good stuff, Graham. Well done. Keep going.
Please, keep going.
Please, just keep going. Just don't
just-
turn
just-
around.
just
Just
go.
keep going.
Just go.
Walk away.
The next he could do could be the Adventures of Tom Bombadil. Do you even know what that is?
Tom Bombadil, yes. He was going to be in Lord of the Rings. Then Peter Jackson decided not to include him because he thought he would have taken too much time and damaged the pace of the film. An ironic thing to say at this point when he squeezed 3 3-hour movies out of an 80-page children's book called The Hobbit. So yeah. So
But Tom Bombadil's kind of like a little side story. There's so many different little side stories that Tolkien did.
well, you've not seen is it the second one where Merry and Pippin get lost in
The
the
second
woods?
one what?
The second film.
Of The
or book.
Hobbit.
Well, the film.
I've read all the books.
Because they get
I've
eaten
seen all
by
the
they
films.
get swallowed by Old Man Willow. Is it like the tree? Is it like a tree, a
Treebeard.
scented tree? Not Treebeard. Before they meet Treebeard, it's only in the special edition of the Two Towers where they kind of get wrapped up by the trees and absorbed. And it's Treebeard in the film that rescues them.
Mm.
And he goes, "Go back to sleep. Let these hobbits go." Thing.
Oh, no, I think I know what you mean. No, they're the because there's the Entmoot, which is the meeting of all the trees. Now, there are good trees and there are bad trees.
But the Ents are the actual walking around
Yeah.
kind of things, and there's other trees that are just sentient but stuck in the ground that
Yeah.
are more tree-like, aren't
Yeah.
they? And the Ents are more kind of like anthropomorphic, if you will.
Fuck me, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Have
fucking
you been
knows.
drinking Coca-Cola?
I haven't, no.
What on earth is going on? Have you been milking your prostate? You usually have that look in your face when you have.
I know. No, remarkably.
It's always in the shower, don't worry. He's got clean fingers. Typing.
Well, you can fill it too, you know. You are the co-host.
I know, this is true, but I just know my place. I'm a woman.
Whoa.
What else was I going to say? No, I was going to say...
Ethan McKinley or the 2-Minute Terminator does not endorse or encourage any of the views spoken of on this show.
By Baby Di Kelly. Yeah, no, what was I going to say? What's going on with you, like, agent-wise?
Everyone's just kind of saying no and fuck you at the moment.
Oh, but I thought there was a possibility that you might have a contact.
I threw a letter into, essentially a message in a bottle, threw it into the darkened seas of oblivion.
Of the
God, I'm
abyss.
such a good writer.
James Cameron.
Kind of, yeah. And I sent out to a guy called John Fowler. Now, John Fowler was my old manager when I was being courted and touted as the next MTV Big Thing presenter.
MTV?
Yeah.
Can't see on MTV.
Well, you remember when I was making all those like wacky comedy videos and stopping people in the
with
street
Gibson and
with
stuff.
Gibson?
Yeah.
They thought we were like this new hot property because Michael already had like a history of being a presenter on MTV, and he had this like wacky friend, and we worked so well together and would like write comedy and do all these like sketches and things. They thought, oh, well, these can be like the new fucking dudes, the new guys. And that's what we were aiming for, to do sketch comedy, a bit like Kay and Peele, but on MTV.
Oh, okay.
And it got so far, and I had like various auditions at iWorks, which is where like presenters and things like basically audition. And that's when John Fowler saw us and then signed me up. But then kind of it never went anywhere with MTV, but he kind of like stayed in touch with me for some reason. And then a year ago at the Saatchi Gallery where I worked last night, at the very same event, like I think it was a year ago, he was there drunk. He's like, Ethan, where have you been? Oh God, I haven't seen you for ages. You look great, but you should come and start in my agency. And I, like an idiot, because I just signed with M&P.
Oh God.
I went, oh, I've just signed with an agent, John. That's great. How are you? So we talked for ages and stuff. He's like, introduced me to all these managers, who, as it turns out, were agents and managers with the largest agent in England, in the world.
So can't you call on that now?
Well, I sent an email and I've showed you the replies. Like, oh, fuck, how are you? Haven't seen you for ages. Who do you want, man? I'll set you up if I can. I'll fix you up some interviews with Curtis Brown. So
That's You know, there's small step, dude.
Showbiz.
It's all about the small victories that lead to the big win.
Well, I've said beyond all that, John. Let's just meet in person anyway, 'cause I haven't seen you for ages. You big old dude.
You old scamp.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to see him
Have
anyway.
a good old jolly. Have a nice cup of ginger beer.
So yeah, I just said if you think there's anything in the links that I've sent you in terms of my self-tapes or my showreel, please do forward it to these people and set up meetings.
And watch this fucking space.
Because I'm kind of on my last legs, really, Ellie, I feel. This is the crossroads I've come to. It's I'm sick of trying to impress people.
I know. You just haven't had the right representation.
Literally haven't had the right representation.
That's what it is. You just need
now,
the right
that's obviously to listeners who are people who are potential actors.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got the biggest agent ever, is no guarantee of success either. I know actors whom I worked with last night.
It's a combination of lots of things.
Yeah.
You have to be able to act. You don't
have to be able to act.
Okay, but you've just said some people that have amazing agents don't
You can have
work.
the right look. You can be
but
a
what
great
I mean
actor.
is if you have all of those things together, Ethan, that's what I'm saying.
You need what the industry would call the package.
Razzle dazzle.
And I think you've mentioned someone who was at the Brit School, right?
I've had a couple of friends at Brit School.
And
Sophie, yeah.
But you said they get Sophie
Bahane, she was incredibly talented. She could do fucking everything.
The package.
But she wasn't like ridiculously stunningly beautiful. You'd look at her and you'd be like, she's an absolute goer. But she wasn't, you know.
You couldn't sell her on top of the pops.
You couldn't sell her on top of the pops, no.
A 14-year-old girl or boy wouldn't
Although
go, I'll
now
buy that CD.
with the likes of Miley Cyrus and stuff like that, you probably could. So that was a bit sad.
But that's what I mean. It's all timing.
Yeah.
It is. It's like right place, right time. There's no right or wrong way of getting into this business. Like I've said before, you can go, oh, I'd never even thought of acting. And then, like the example of my friend Stuart, who's with
I think it's
United.
what I might do, you know.
All right, my friend Stuart's a writer.
in.
He hasn't worked for a long time. He's with United. But his wife is an agent there, and she's got a guy she signed up she went to see his brother's play and then met his brother in the bar afterwards and signed him, who'd never acted before, based on the way he looked and him just having something. What that's done to the brother relationship, I have no idea. But now he's being seen and touted for the next Power Rangers movie and stuff, and all these big like A-list Hollywood projects. So that's a possible success story and a future star. But there's other people that I know with the same agent that can't get arrested in this town because you're lost in a sea of stars.
Yeah, fuck, man. It's a tough one.
So you might have the same. You might have the same agent as Daniel Craig, but
what, Potato Face?
Yeah, you may not have the same success as him, and it's nothing. Talent is 3 or 4 things down on the list. You need to have the right look. You need to have the right je ne sais quoi. You need to even look good on camera. Some people look awful on camera, but they can act, and they can't sell that.
Very bizarre.
It is. It's a crazy.
It's a crazy old world.
Like for a doctor, you'd go and study being a doctor, and then you'd leave, and you'd go into a vocation, be it something or something or something or this or that, of any sphere. And as long as you pass all your exams and you're committed and you do it, you'll walk out into the medical profession in whatever hopeful area that you want to. Whereas an actor, you can do all the right things, go to the right school, do this, do that, and nothing will happen. And then you can be some like no Oprah Eaton who does a bit of Cambridge Footlights work or whatever. I'm obviously mixing my genres. And you get picked up by an agent by doing one play, and they catapult you and put you right in up for a massive movie or a play, and you get it. Just by pure luck, and then your career has begun. And because you've been in one good thing or one large-scale thing,
then that develops momentum,
away.
Yeah. So this is the beginning
whereas
of
Arthur
all
and Merlin is a great film, but you know, because it was on a smaller scale and not enough people saw it because the marketing budget wasn't big enough to tell the world about this thing. Although hopefully now it's gaining some step. All the brilliant people involved in that. Graham Plowman, Kirk, Stefan, Nigel Cook, fucking
well, if they all
David
turn their
Stern,
back on it, then you are going to have to be the
Nicholas
next fucking
Asprey.
star because you'll be the only one that'll still be in the game. And they'll be like, Ethan, we need you to be the lead. Can you do it? And you will say,
I'm sick of the game. I shouldn't have to work this hard just to meet an agent, let
no,
alone...
but if they just offered it to you.
What?
Ethan, the next Arthur and Merlin movie, we want you to be Lancelot. You're going to be the fucking lead thing.
I might come out of retirement if they ask me that. But I'm
Please
kind
do.
of, at this point, turning... I don't know, I'm feeling the same frustration as Kirk and Stefan, and they're the fucking leads of the film, for fuck's sake.
I know.
It's just the game. I'm kind of getting...
Yeah, but you are better
bored.
looking than they are.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I don't know, Kirk's got a lovely Englishman quality. Don't squint your eye at me. Graham Plowman, you will not report this to anyone. If you are still listening. We're just kidding.
I think we should wrap it up. It's been 45 minutes.
It has. And
been a fun-packed
we covered
episode.
lots of Terminator.
We actually did.
We did. Thank you all for listening, folks. We shall return not tomorrow because I'm doing the same thing I did yesterday, working slinging drinks for famous people whose lives.
Drinks.
For people whose all their dreams came true, Ethan will serve you a drink.
Which one are you doing tomorrow?
Some Grey Goose event, so it's probably just some launch of some fucking horse shit that Grey Goose
What
is.
the fuck is Grey
They
Goose?
make vodka, so they're sponsoring an event.
I wouldn't know.
So we'll return on Friday
Freitag.
via Viber because I need to, even though Graham, not Plowman, Hancock. Graham Plowman, if you are listening to this, we are going to do a podcast together this month, hopefully. I've got 2 guests booked who keep diddling me about, so I'm trying to get them locked down. Once they're out of the way, I'm free and I can start doing it my way.
So when are you doing Hancock?
I messaged him again today. Second time.
A second time.
If he doesn't respond by Friday, I'm going to just keep sending emails over and over again so his inbox blows up like he did the first time. Because the first time I did it after we met him, he never got back to me. Then I did it twice over the weekend, and he got back to me. So he's probably only free at weekends.
Okay.
But I'm going to study him like crazy over the weekend, and we shall return obviously on Friday with 2 episodes hopefully. And if we don't, we'll do one on Saturday to make up for the loss, obviously, of the 2. So thank you all for listening. We shall
Thank you
return.
so much. Please return, as always.
I lost all my spots now, like a leopard. Yeah, episode 46 will be then, and then episode 47, and we look forward to you returning to us. I hope you like the show. It was a long one, and we keep doing long ones.
They are my favourite.
Maybe we should boil them down to 15 minutes again.
Hasta la vista.
Baby. Plowman.